Good morning, my buddy. Last time, I introduced life story of Giovanni de Medici in the history of Italy. He had developed Medici family as one of influential family in not only Florence, but also all European world. After he passed away, his elder son, Cosimo de Medici, hand over Medici family. When Cosimo inherited Medici family as a successor of Giovanni, he was already 40 years old. He and his younger brother, Lorenzo the Elder, occupy important role of Florence government. His common name was Cosimo il Vecchio, meaning is, old guy. He was wary statesman to behave calm, and careful anytime. It was DNA of Giovanni. Cosimo studied how to behave as a leader from his father. Also, Giovanni gave the best of the best education for these brothers, and they are fluent for few languages, like Latin, Greek, apart from Italy. Also, he has brilliant knowledge of history, art, construction, etc. Additionally, Cosimo was excellent businessman, and people respect him a lot in Florence. Indeed, he had curiosity for history, and when he was 20 years old, he planned to visit Palestine with his friend, Niccolo Nicoli, for study trip. This trip plan was cancelled by Giovanni because it disturbs his business training, but this episode shows, Cosimo was not just a simple businessman but also bystander of Renaissance. When he was 26 years old, he got married with Contessina Vardi, and obtained two sons, Piero de Medici and Giovanni de Medici. Meanwhile, he has another girlfriend and she delivered his another son. Therefore, he was also not just simple innocent guy but practical realist as statement of Florence as well. Anyway, Cosimo had big ambitious to be last boss of Florence, and he took aggressive style to develop his business itself. He opened his branch office in not only Italy but also overseas as well. He tried to extend his network through his business, and also through political marriage. Then, support art activities as their sponsor to let it be his weapons. However, it creates conflict with exiting old authorities in Italy. Especially Albizzi family hates Medici family and they used force, violence for settlement. These days, Florence has many commercial group upon their industry, and core industries has strong power to manage even government as well. We call this commercial group as Arti, and core Arti was called Big Arti Italian. Unfortunately, both Medici and Albizzi family joined same wool guild. Just by the chance, Florence opened fire with nearby city-states, Lucca. And during this war, Albizzi family put Cosimo into jail under name of treason. Albizzi family insisted execution of Cosimo, but eventually, they failed and just kicked out him from Florence. Cosimo was sent to Padua, just 190 kilometers distance from Florence. And in Padua, Cosimo was very welcomed by Padua people as a head of Medici Bank. In there, he enjoyed very comfortable life day by day. And just 1 year later, he conducted quiet coup d'état. Albizzi family should take a responsibility of opening fire with Lucca. And as a consequence, they did increase tax on Florence citizen during that war. Therefore, Florence citizen hated Albizzi family very much. It produced anti-Albizzi atmosphere in Florence. Of course, Cosimo agitated Florence citizen in behind, then, political rebellion turn over existing government. New government appointed Cosimo as new leader. Meanwhile, new Florence government kicked out Albizzi to outside of Florence. No fighting, no blood, peacefully Cosimo backed Florence. After backed Florence, Cosimo took initiative to promote alliance group. After 1458, he retired from all his public positions and controlled Florence government from backside. Especially he touched election system of government staff and occupy majority of each important roles by Medici group. Meanwhile, disallow Albizzi family to come back to Florence and eliminate political enemy from Florence. It was political strategy to minimize potential risk for Medici. Therefore, apparently, Florence was still in Republic system but inside was monopolized by Medici family as a tyrant, king of their circumstance allows Cosimo to behave a tyrant as well. Before, Arti had strong power to give influence to government, and they cooperate each other inside of this Arti committee. But globalization disallowed them to have that kind of individuality anymore, and weaken their group power by keen competition as well. Then, people wanted to rely on strong power, like a Medici family, and Medici did not fail to show their voluntary activities to support society. Cosimo established amicable relationship with each and every classes and let them recognize the benefit to stay with Medici family. Indeed, his tax payment to Florence occupied 65% of income of government. And rumor said that anyone of good family in Florence borrowed money from Medici Bank. He also spent bulky money for his patronage activities of society, and Cosimo know what is most effective item to show off his contribution. It was construction, build up new building in busy places in the city. Basilica of San Lorenzo, Florence, I have been there with your mom before. Dominican Monastery of San Marco, now it retains as a museum in there. His palace itself, great historical building. But, still he tried to be low profile, and this his palace itself, he changed design to be more simple, and downgrade. Not to ask Florence citizen to be monster of suspension, monster of jealous. He passed away when he was 75 years old. Florence government presented the name of Padre della Patria, father of the country. He asked his son, Piero, to take care Donatello, favorite artist of Cosimo. So, until last moment, he supported this artist as his friend. And this DNA come up in his next generation. But, that topic shall be next time to describe.
As the journey continues.